And this story is really close to my heart, because this is my story. You see, you will learn today my entire journey through childhood. I will take you through my very beginnings. We will revisit the biggest points in my life. We will go through my biggest successes and biggest mistakes. We will take together radical decisions. We will go through wins, losses, joy, sadness, excitement. I'll tell you all of my hilarious anecdotes, and we'll revisit all of my life's failures and the lessons I took with them. So we will learn together 83 profound lessons of life that I experienced, came up with, and they are not cliche because you couldn't hear them anywhere else. And everything will be painted in watercolor pictures. My name is Francis Baranski. I love Zero to Heroes journeys, and I'm creating my own. And I'm honored. Yeah, you know what? To be honest, my life really began at 19 years old when I finished my exams in school and when I fell in love for real and for the first time. So at the time, which is important, I was going to church every week, and I was really religious person. And I realized that I am addicted, and I am addicted to the most dopamine encouraging thing on earth, which was masturbation. So I realized that I'm addicted to this instant hit any time in the day. I saw it as the thing controlling my life. Back in the day, I didn't know anything about self-development, self-improvement, nothing. This thing was just invisible. I knew about philosophy, but philosophy was something like ancient Greece wisdom shit. In church, I was really self-reflecting on myself. I realized, hey, I am addicted and I am controlled by this thing. I was going to the confession each week and I was trying to work on myself. So I stopped for 1 day, for 3 days, for 5 days, and then I couldn't help myself but do it. And again. And I was going to confession each week, which usually confession takes 1 month or 2 months or whatever. But I was going each week and saying, I'm working on myself, I'm trying to control this habit. I failed again, and I failed again, and I failed again. And after let's say 3 months of doing this, it just suddenly stopped. It wasn't just a magical point, it was just so slight transition. And I realized, hey, one day I just lost this urge that I had before. And right now I can control myself. And this is really important because this is the foundation of my future life. So during the same time, which I think is heavily connected, because men's psychology works like that our purpose on life is having sex, making children. So this is our primal instinct to do that. So when you discover something like masturbation, then you check the deepest desire that you have, and then you don't have to do anything else, and you lose the interest for other things, and you lose the energy, and you lose this risk-taker edge that you have. And yeah, I was always interested in girls and in dating, but I was always this friendzone guy because I grew up in the, let's say, women's house with my 2 older sisters and my mom and my dad sometimes been there. Yeah. So I was in this female environment and I took a lot of female characteristics like softness and creativity, I guess, and a lot of this nice guy attitude. And this was not helping me with girls at all. I was always this friendzone guy. I was always flirting with girls, but it was not a real flirt. It was just talking with them on the level of not sexual level, but just as friends. And even having fun, being confident around them, but not bringing this sexual tension to the table. And this is really important as well, because this theme will come up many times later. So at this time, I stopped my addiction, and I was proud of that. At this time, I met this girl, and this girl she was special. She was beautiful, she was funny, she was intelligent, she was the girl. And I said to myself, that first time in my life, I will do it differently. I will approach this situation differently, and I will not let myself get in the friend zone again. So I took a total different approach with this. Again, never watching any YouTube videos about it, never reading any books, never being interested in any of that. I didn't even know this stuff existed back then. This was just my inside thinking of, okay, I have to do something different. All of my time before, I was messaging girls always, constantly trying to get in contact with them, being so needy, being this funny class clown, and it was totally not attractive for girls. I mean, it was for some girls, but the girls I was truly interested in, these were always blocked, and I was blocking them myself, but I didn't know about that. So with this girl, with this special girl, I knew I got to approach it differently. So I decided that I will sometimes not reply to the messages, and I will sometimes leave the room when we will be together there, and I will not follow her everywhere she goes because I've done these things before. Like, I was so needy of female attention, of the femaleness. So it was something new. I realized that I had the power in myself and I could not be so needy. Because we were friends, we were hanging out together, alone, two of us. There was no sexual tension and there was nothing. I realized that I have to do it differently. I will not be the nice guy, won't be so needy. Even though we will go together, I will just be on my own. I will leave the room, I will talk with other girls, I will talk with other people. I will say no. Yes, I will not be agreeing to everything, I will say no. And it kind of worked. I realized that now she is following me. That even though I say no to the stupid things, she may get angry or frustrated, but this sets up some power balance. But still, we were hanging out and it was like just friends. But then I realized that, okay, maybe she's waiting for my move. Maybe she is just like pretending to not be interested and chatting with her friends like, oh, when this guy finally will make the move. So I took the decision that I will kiss this girl. We were having this long summer, 5 months, and we were going to the driving license classes. And so just one day, I decided that this is the day that I will kiss this girl. And we were hanging out, we were sitting there, and I was just, okay, fuck this shit, I'm going for it. And she was like, whoa, what the fuck, man? And I was just like, hey, you know, completely logical. Hey, we were hanging out, we like each other, we spent all the days together, so maybe we should just take it to the next level, you know? And she was like, well, I don't know how I feel about it. Of course, this will take me ages to record this shit. She said, yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but she said, okay, we need to talk about it, like adults do. And I said, okay, we can talk about it. So we set the date that the next day we will go and we will have a drink and we will talk. Like a deep conversation about our future together. So we met up the next day for the talk. She had this small summer house with the small garden in the city, and we were hanging out there, and the atmosphere was so tense, so cringe. It was impossible to talk about the thing. So we were just talking about the music and about some bullshit. Inside I was thinking like, yes, I should just tell her what I feel and what I like about her and all of the things. And so I was preparing to the move, and then their friends come. Suddenly the party blows up, and I was sitting like this, so angry, like, yeah, these fucking people destroyed my move, destroyed the talk, man. And this party took like 3 hours or something. Then these people got out and we left alone together. So I said to her, okay, let's just go for another beer, we had few already, and just let's come back with the beer and let's have a real talk. She said, okay. It was around the midnight. Went to the shop with the beer, came back, and this is the point where it gets interesting. So we stand by the gate to this gardens, and she says like, well, I don't have a key to the gate. And I'm like, okay, where is it? She said, yeah, it's probably inside, but we don't have the key to the gate, so it's locked in our summer house. I said, okay, so what should we do? And she said, yeah, so let's just jump over the fence. And this gate was this 2.5 meter big high gate with a pointy like endings, I don't know how to call it, like sharp pointy arrows to stop the thieves to not jump through this fence. But she went first and she just jumped like this, and I was like, okay, I'm a little drunk, but we can do it, don't destroy this moment, man. So I just climbed on the fence and I was jumping on the other side. But when I was jumping, I was holding this thing, so this arrow pointy gate ending just ripped off my hand like this. And I was like, oh my god. I looked at my hand and it was cut in half. There was blood everywhere, and I felt warm inside of my hand, like lying on my palm. And I just saw it for 1 second and I just hid it. And she said, whoa, what happened? And I said, no, nothing. And I felt no pain. The adrenaline hit me and I was getting so fun. And I just started laughing like, what the fuck just happened? This was the only time in my life that I felt this feeling, that I did something and I immediately regretted it. And we are standing there inside of this summer garden place with my hand ripped off without a key to the gate. At midnight, I just ordered, call the ambulance. So she called the ambulance, and then we realized, hey, we don't have this key. So she ran to find the key. I was left alone. So after like 30 seconds, it felt for me like this. The ambulance came and we talked through the gate. They're on the one side, I am on the other side. And they say, hey, what happened? And I said, yeah, this is my hand, it's ripped off. And they were like, ooh. And they're like, how did you get there? And I said, yeah, I jumped through the fence. And they were like, you wanted to steal something? I said, no, we have the summer house here and we just lost the key. And they were like, okay, did you drink something? Yeah, something, yeah, a little bit. And I said, yeah, my girlfriend will just come with the key. And then she comes and she says, there is no key. And they were like, what the fuck are you doing here, guys? And we were like, just hanging out. And this was the situation where the medics, they were furious, they were angry, they were like so pissed off that they had to have this mission for the stupid kids in the middle of the night. And this girl, she was crying. This is her fault, that this is all on her, that she made me do it. And I, with adrenaline high, I was laughing my ass off because this was so hilarious. And they were like, okay, so we should find some other exit and some other way to go, and maybe you should just jump through again. I said, no, I'm not doing this. So we were thinking about the options, about the holes in the fence, about the other exits. There was nothing. So they finally said, okay, the only safe thing we can do is just call the firefighters and they will just cut this gate. And I said, okay, whatever. And then I just take my hand to the pocket and I find the key to the gate in my pocket. So they were standing here talking about the options, almost calling the ambulance. And I say, I'm so sorry, but I have this key. And they were like, okay, let's just go to the hospital. So in the hospital, they asked me if I'm injured. And I said, I guess. So they said, yeah, so just call your parents, man. So I was calling my mom in the middle of the night, like, hey mom, well, I'm in the hospital, but everything is fine. I just have this small wound and it's everything fine. Just need to know if I'm injured. Yeah. Is everything okay? I said, yeah. No worries. Maybe I'll have to stay for a few hours, but everything is fine. So yeah, I was injured. But then when the doctor came, he said just one thing. Amputation. There is nothing to fix. There is no way we'll fix the finger. Like, yeah, it's just like, if you're so stupid that you jump through the fence with the keys in your pocket, then this is the result. And I'm like, okay, let's cut it, man. I was just in so cool mood. I was just, okay, so I'll be just Francis, 9 fingers, whatever. And he was like, well, we will see what we can do. So he was just fucking with me. I was just in the operation live for 3 hours. They were fixing my fingers. And I was laying there, talking with them, joking with them. They were fucking up with me, but it was kind of cool. And then I left the operation room and she was there waiting for me. And I was like, whoa, it's 3 a.m. I mean, you should be home. And she was like, yeah, but I was so scared. So she went home with taxi. And the next day I was lying in this hospital bed, not in the hospital room, but in the corridor because they didn't have the space for me. And I was lying in the corridor and at 6 a.m. these people started coming out from their rooms and some people were asking me, hey, what's going on? What happened to you? And I said, yeah, I was so stupid, jumping through the fence and I ripped my finger, almost cut it off. And this guy said, yeah, this shit happens. I was actually fixing my grass cutter. Yeah, I lost 3 fingers, man. And he showed me he was only the thumb and the 4th finger. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not in this so bad situation. And actually, I was in a pretty good situation because my friend came to me the next day and we didn't need any more talks, we didn't need any more words, we were just holding hands. Yeah, and this was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. So this story is such a beautiful story, like a scene took out from the movie. It was so romantic because of this emotional adventure we went through. We fell in love so much. This was so pure and this was so beautiful. Just we against the world, because we said back then, like, yeah, people are not communicating with each other, they don't like each other, marriages like fell off, and this is like people break up with each other, but we are a true friends with a deep emotional bond and we like each other and we like to spend time with each other, and we have this also love element. So at this time, being like on semen retention for half a year back then, I was just so cool with not having sex and with waiting for the perfect moment. I was completely not needy sexually, to the point. So I think also this was the thing that I was kind of a strong man back then, mentally. We were spending 100% of the time together. If we weren't together, we were messaging each other like everything, constantly in the contact, always speaking openly about our feelings, about ourselves, hanging out, having adventures, having these small things, small adventures. We move out from our city, started university, we were living separately, but we were spending so much time together, and I had my first sex, which was so bad, and I had so cool experiences. So for me it was like, yeah, this is it. I don't need anything more. I have a perfect girlfriend, that she will be my wife, and we will have our lives together, because we were talking about marriage, and we were talking about kids, and we were talking about our future, and yeah, everything was perfect. We were 19 years old. Again, I didn't know anything about gratitude and about spiritual things. I'd never heard of it, I never read a book, never. But I just thought, I am in this perfect relationship, and just every day is filled up with so much joy, and I am so grateful for that, and I want to live in this very moment, because I don't need anything more, because I have everything I need in my girlfriend. I had back then just few friends, but not so much social life, no hobbies. I dropped riding, I dropped football, I dropped everything. She was my hobby, and this was so bad, man. This was so bad. Because putting her on this pedestal, it's easy to say, yeah, I was just a pussy. No, it wasn't like that. I had my, we were arguing about a lot of things. I had my arguments, I had my positions, I had my points, I had my talks. Yeah, I was kind of a strong young man. But yeah, let's say with her I was confident. But back then I started to become needy, because when sex entered the game, and without fapping, she was the only source of my sexual gratitude. She was the only source of my sexual dopamine hit. So I became so needy, and I wanted to spend so much time with her. And she was different. She wanted to have these adventures and meet people and doing all of these things. And I was just like, yeah, and we should just stay together and don't do anything. Yeah, so this is the obvious setup for failed relationship. So this happened just one day, after 1 year, 1.5 years, whatever. She just lost her interest. It felt to me like it was just sudden loss of interest, but it was just gradual. Some kind of a distaste. I won't analyze it here, but my relationship suddenly stops. So we were technically together, still in the relationship, but our contact just dropped 99%. And this was terrible. My relationship that was with my favorite person on earth, with the person I saw myself forever, having kids, having marriage, with the person that I leaned on everything I had. And this was the end of the world for me. This was so bad. I remember this, just laying in my bed alone, looking in the ceiling and thinking, life just has no meaning. If I would just lie here and look in the ceiling, nothing changes, man. It's the same. And I was just like, okay, maybe I fucked up. Maybe I was too needy or too soft or whatever, but I need to win her back. So I just put how to win your ex back, even though we were technically together still. So there was this website, this landing page, so long, and I just read it through, and this was perfectly for what I was seeking. Hey, did you just lose the love of your life? She just suddenly stopped replying? You were destined to be together forever? Yeah, everything was perfect. So this was the landing page for me. So I bought this book titled something like, How to Win Your Ex Back. And the first sentence in this book says something like, you didn't want to do it. So perfect, man. So I read this book, and this was eye-opening. This was the first self-development book I have ever read, and this was eye-opening. This guy just called out so much of my bullshit, and it just showed me that I had so low standards for myself, and I was not having friends, not having any hobbies. I was just boring guy. So this was obvious that this girl was supposed to break up with me. This was like eye-opening. And he said in this book, you shouldn't win this girl back. You really shouldn't. But if you want, there's only one way. Only one way. No other way. You need to disappear for some time, at least 3 months, and then come back as a new person. There is no other way. And I say, okay, there's the only way. I really see that. So I just called my girlfriend. I said that we need to talk, and she said, no, I don't want to. And I said, we really need to talk just for 5 minutes. And I just went there and I said that this is over. I broke up with my girlfriend with a plan, with a strategy, changing myself, coming back stronger, winning her back in 3 months. So this was 2016, October, November. So I had this plan that maybe on Christmas, I will just go and do my thing. This was a new feeling that I have never experienced before. This was the feeling of, hey, I have new freedom, new opportunities, and life is open to me. My life was just clean slate, and I knew, because in this book this guy says, okay, you need to have new interests, you need to have new passions, you need to develop yourself. What do you like? What did you try before? I've always wanted to go for boxing, like some martial arts, and there was this boxing classes, so I just signed up for boxing. I've heard many times compliments about my dancing, so I just went to the dance classes and I started hanging out with people from my university, from my classes, and I was kind of this guy in the background. I like this cool outsider that I'm not needy. I'm just I had my breakup and I'm living through it, and it's this is deep shit. And also, what is really important, I started reading about pickup, about dating, about female male psychology, about relationships, and I learned so much about my previous mistakes. And I read the book about friendzone, and this was so eye-opening for me that all of my life I was operating from this female, soft, non-confronting way. And actually, what makes women attracted and interested in you is this friction, and it's this. So I started learning about that, and I decided that all of my life I was this nice guy, compliments and this bullshit friendzone, yeah. But now I decided that I will be this asshole. I will be the asshole. I will be the total opposite of the nice guy. I will just say mean things to girls. I will be so mean, because I was thinking like that. The nice guy is the guy that cannot bring the emotional roller coaster. The nice guy, the friendzone guy, is just like a flat emotional guy. I need to say it properly. What women want? Emotions. So if you can evoke emotions, even those negative emotions like sadness, anger, frustration, intrigue, tension, excitement, this whole roller coaster, this whole mix, this whole cocktail of emotions, if you can make it, even if you're an asshole, you won the game. And suddenly I started being so fucking rude guy, so rude. I don't even remember what I said, but I was saying something like, yeah, you're fat, or you're ugly, or something like this. And when they said, oh, do you think I'm ugly? I was like, yeah, something like this. And what's the most interesting is that it worked. This dark manipulation tactics, it worked. So just changing myself from being nice to being mean on purpose won me already few girls interested in having sex with me. This was wow. So this opened my eyes, and I gained new level of confidence, and I gained new level of this risk taking, and always going out of my comfort zone. This was really important because I was reading these books from these pickup artists. I have always wanted to go outside and talk to the girls on the street, but I was always afraid to do that, and I've never done it because I had new friends, new opportunities, new hobbies, but I was still waiting to win back my girlfriend. And I was thinking, yeah, I will show her how great I am, how a new person I am, with social proof, with flirt, with new sexuality, I was not having sex, I was kind of waiting for her, but I had the sexual opportunities. I've changed, and I'm ready for the relationship. So the Christmas, my deadline were coming close, and I said, I have this plan to my closest friend, and he said, man, she has someone. And this was actually the day that my faith was lost. And I need to accept the fact that she just moved on and she has another boyfriend, and this chapter is closed. So I really need to move on myself. And New Year's Eve 2016 to 2017, I started the diary. I just started writing my thoughts down, just stream of consciousness. During this time I was writing every day, every week, every time I wanted. I was just naturally writing. I quickly realized how cool writing the diary is, because right now, after 8 years of writing, I can zoom in my life and I can see each day, each week separately, and I can see what I did exactly 8 years ago and how I was feeling this very day and what thoughts exactly I had this very day. But also I can zoom out and see my life through patterns, repetitive stories. I can see my life chapters, which I'm trying to do right now. And there is also this kind of the communication with myself. and treating myself as a main character of my life, writing my book kind of out of my story. And I think this is very, 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 very valuable. Because, for example, my friend had this recurring pattern of breaking up with his girlfriend, then feeling alive, doing some new things, then feeling sad, missing her, coming back to her, living with her, getting frustrated, and this constant loop of going to the same relationship again. And for me, this was obvious that they are not the perfect match, and they are just stuck with each other somehow. And I said to him, if you would have the diary with your exact thoughts from the day of a breakup, you would never come back to this relationship again. But because you don't have the diary, you don't remember what you were thinking 6 months ago. Therefore, you take this decision based on your current feelings and your current logic, and you can't see the recurring pattern that happens all the time. So I think this is really important with the diary. And this is so cool to write, to dump your thoughts, to put it on paper and to read it later and to learn yourself, to know yourself. Amazing stuff, really. And I highly recommend the diary to anyone. And this is so cool to have for your kids when you die. Oh, my father was so cool. Oh, I'm joking. Yeah. So back then, I decided that I don't want to study what I was studying. Because first year, I was studying the cool sounding things, which was automatic devices and robot programming, which was really kind of fancy thing, but it was so hard that I didn't pass the exams. And then I moved to another degree, which was nanotechnology, which is also cool sounding, but this was so boring. And I love math, and I love math, and I'm so good. But I really liked programming, and this was kind of creative because I'm extremely creative. So I decided, okay, I will just drop university. I'll go to my school, to my high school, retake the math exam, and then I will apply for programming. So then I need a real job. The first time, like, having a real job, being 20 years old. So I started sending empty CVs. I was working as a waiter before, so I had something, like, but it was mainly empty. And I said, yeah, I need this real job, like this well-paying job. So I started applying to everything, and I had this call. I didn't even know what was it. I just went for the interview. Yeah, in a suit and a shirt. So I entered this beautiful, new, modern office, which was totally empty, with these computers and boxes on the tables, like a huge open space. And there was this guy, and he asked me, do I have any experience in sales? And I said, well, I was a waiter, so you need some sales experience as well. So we started talking, and he said that they are opening the office in my city, which was Gdansk in Poland, and they have this company which is really successful in the capital in Warsaw. They are now just expanding, and this will be the totally new office, and they are looking for the young, ambitious people that will bring some cool atmosphere to the office. And I said, I was back then this guy that wanted to experience as much as he could, and I wanted to go outside of my comfort zone, and I wanted to like do the new things. So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. I can learn. I can do anything, man. And he of course said, the amount of money you can make in sales is incredible. I'm fucking ready. So I got this job. The most exciting thing for me was to meet 50 new people. I am missing this right now, meeting 50 new people. And this office was something special. There is this scene in The Wolf of Wall Street when he comes to this shitty office, and they are selling some shitty stocks, and he asks, is it legal? And they are like, yeah, kind of. So this was kind of a job I was doing. So we were selling not stocks, but the contracts on stocks. So it was kind of like you got to bet, will the stock go up or go down, something like this. So this was kind of a stock market related, but it was not the stocks you were buying. And so this was CFD contracts, I guess. So is it kind of a scam? Not really, but it kind of like gambling? Yeah, this job was perfect for me back then. Perfect, because it was, first of all, going out of your comfort zone, because you got to cold call people, supposedly rich people, and you got to talk with them on their level. So this was so confidence boosting, and we had meetings, like these mental meetings, and our managers was affirming us that we are the best, that we are so higher than those clients, that we are better, that we are great, that we are so confident, like these affirmations every day. And when you hear this, you are awesome, you are great, you are the best, you are better than them, you are higher, you have more money, you make more money. You start to believe this, and everybody believes that. So the atmosphere in the office was like the atmosphere of success, of joy, of like so confidence, even though we were like just sitting there all day for 8 hours, calling people. And there was this rules, like if the client swears, you can swear. If the clients like say something bullshit on you, you can say the bullshit on them. Like you can ping pong with them, which I think it's isn't nice and isn't like the way to make business. But this was back then, it was something like this. So for me back then, interested in this pickup, because pickup and sales are the same. This is exactly the same thing. You cannot be needy. You have to be like, yeah, whatever. And with me being rude, and that my manager wanted me to be rude to the clients if it brings business, I gained so much confidence out of this job. I could just call any person I wanted, and I was talking with them like, and our competition were cold calling like, hello, this is from this company, and we would like to ask you if, and I was calling like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Long time no see. It's me, Francis. Yeah, it's like we knew each other for life. This was so good. This was so good. And yeah, should I talk about dates as well? Okay, two words about dates. Back then and this year, and I went on the first Tinder dates. And these Tinder dates, I was getting like not so quality matches, and I didn't really like them. They were these girls in the office that I really liked, but still with them I was in kind of a friend zone. So I couldn't always bring this sexual spark that is needed and this sexual tension. I often played it safe with the clients as well. I was not perfect salesman, I was playing it safe. And I'm not, just a disclaimer. Okay, no disclaimers, fuck this shit, let's go. So I was working there and I loved it because I was respected in the office. I was one of the best salesmen and I was really liked. I had my friends, I had my, they were girls in the office, and it was so cool to meet up with them. And we were having these parties, and all of these people were so extroverted and so confident, and I loved it because I am extroverted in my soul and I love extroverted people. And this excitement and this attitude and this atmosphere in the office was great. I really liked going there. And with the vision of me in 6 months making enough to drive a Porsche or BMW or whatever, like dream come true, man. In sales there are always these talks like selling you the idea of the future, like, yeah, we will develop the office, so we'll need new managers. So who will be the new managers? Like, yeah, you guys, the best guys in the office. So I was like, yeah, so in a few months I am the manager and I am making so much money and I don't even have to cold call anymore. I have my group of people and I train them on myself, and I will bring all of the affirmations, all of the mental work that I learned, and so good. To the day that suddenly they closed the office. So it was something like the law in Poland changed with like a soft information, and I don't really know, but they just closed our office. And I was like, again, losing the love of my life. Before it was a girlfriend, right now it was the office. So suddenly the office closes, and my manager said to me, well, you're a good guy and you are one of the best guys in the office, and I don't want to excite you, but there is this probability, I don't know if you would like it, but maybe there will be the possibility to go to Dubai. And I was like, what? Dubai? And he said, yeah, Dubai. And I was like, fucking Dubai. So you got to understand, maybe for some people Dubai is just some random place. For me, from Poland, from a so fucking poor family, going to Dubai, to the richest place in the world, working there as a manager, having my own group of Dubai salesmen making the sales for me in Dubai. Of course I will go to Dubai, of course, and I am not excited at all. Even with 10% opportunity, I'm not excited at all. Of course I was thinking only about Dubai. I was thinking like, yeah, this is my life chance. But life fucked me so hard, and now I'm getting the return. So they said, my manager said, I'm moving out from Poland, not to Dubai, and it would be the best if you would just go with me and continue your career in this company, just in a different city, in a different country, which was Czech Republic, because there was a different law in Czech Republic and they can still do it. If you want, you can go with me to Czech Republic and we will continue the same work, and there will be the possibility of you going to Dubai, and I'll do everything for you because I will have the money for it too. So I'll do everything to make you go to Dubai. So off I went. Czech Republic is a southern neighbor of Poland, and I was living in the north in Gdansk, so I need to go through whole of Poland, 800, 900 kilometers to this new city. So I went there. I barely had money for 1 week of living. But I was not afraid at all. I was just treating it, yeah, the opportunity comes, I take it. And this is something new. And if this is something new, this is out of my comfort zone and I will learn new things, I'm doing it. So I went to this city in Czech Republic, smaller city, and I was living with the managers. Not living with salesmen, but living with the managers. So I was surrounded by this higher level people. So I went there, and the first time in the office, I was shocked because we, in Gdansk, we had beautiful, modern, white, new office that evoked this feeling of success and money and power. But in there, the office was dark, was scummy, sleazy, old, from the 80s, ugly, dirty, and people were kind of similar. There was a lot of poor guys, didn't have money for a proper suit, taking drugs during this work, and it was so visible on their faces. And I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, I was there just as a stepping stone, in between step towards Dubai. So I started working, and I started working so hard. I was trying so hard. I was trying to prove myself. I was trying to show off. I was trying to prove that I am worth going to Dubai and I can make sales, that I am the best salesman, that I came from a different city and I can prove all of the guys, all of the low quality guys, that I am the best and I am the highest quality and I am quality high enough to go to Dubai next week and make real money. But all of these people were making these little sales, but so often, and I couldn't. I wanted to make this big sale, and I just couldn't. So at this time, there came the boss of the bosses of the company, and he said, yeah, who is this guy who wants to go to Dubai? And I said, yeah, this is me. And he asked me, yeah, do I speak English? I said, of course, man. What's my score, sales score? And I said, well, what's your score for the last month? And I said, well, it's still on 0. So he said, okay, so you want to go on Dubai and you have 0? You need to prove yourself, man. And I said, okay, working on it. And he said, just fucking do it, man. And maybe you'll go to Dubai and someone will call you. So I got a phone call from Dubai, and maybe I was scared of this. Maybe I was scared of success. I answered the call and it was silent. And I said, hello. And it was silent. So I just disconnected. And the normal person would go to someone, say, hey, someone called me, but it lost connection. Maybe they should call me again. But I did nothing. I got a phone call from Dubai, probably talking about my future opportunities, and I just avoided, and I just blew it off. It was silent. I said, okay, they will call again, and they didn't. They fucking didn't. This month I closed 0. Next month I closed 0, and the next month I closed 0. So I was living in hell. I was on 0 constantly, and all the people, supposedly lower quality, they were closing all of the time, smaller deals, but all of the time. And my manager, he got the opportunity to go to the different country. I mean, we were still friends, but he said, yeah, you'll go to this different manager, and I'm just leaving. So he left. So I went to this new manager, and I was confident, yeah, I'm from Poland, so this is better country, and from the better office, we were closing so high deals, man. And he said, yeah, man, you really need to step down. You really need to see where you are, man. You are on 0 for 3 months, so you really need to be realistic. And he said, man, on paper, you are shit, so you need to really work on yourself. And he said, what do you do after the work? I said, nothing. I just go to sleep. And he said, you need to have some social life here. You need to go to the gym. You need to train. Because if you only work, it's not enough. I was also drinking alcohol a lot. So he said, man, if you need help, I can help you with the gym. I can help you with everything. Okay. So I changed my ways. I started the gym. I was still drinking a lot, but I took this approach of smaller deals. And suddenly I closed something, then I closed something else. It was not much, but I was getting this momentum. But the Dubai thing was closed, I was forgotten, not available anymore. And maybe this was the best opportunity I had in my life, but I will never know. And maybe I will just go to Dubai on my own. So when I came first time in Gdansk to this office, my plan was 6 months as a salesman and then get promoted to the manager. But there I was 8 months in, and I was still on very low level, and I was still not making much money, and I was still miserable. So my life back then looked like morning gym, the work through all of the week, and then during the weekend drinking, partying, going to my friends to Poland, Warsaw to Gdansk. So this was nothing fun, man. I was really struggling. I was failing every day, every week, every month. I had my friends there, but we were just drinking. It was hard for me to go on dates, and my life was kind of a shit. I was working there for 8 months until I finally got promoted. Imagine this, for 1.5 years, I was cold calling every day strangers and trying to make sales with them. And I was sitting in this office and I was looking on the beautiful weather outside, and I felt like in the prison. And I was thinking about my friends and about my ex-girlfriend, that they are partying, they are having this social life, they are having sex, and they are having their cool summer vibes lives. And I'm here stuck, trying to build something for myself, trying to build a career and trying to prove myself and trying to make a lot of money, trying to convince myself that I'm not postponing myself, that the job that I'm doing is the inner work as well. I wanted to elaborate on something else which I think is very important as well. May seem shallow on the surface, but it is really important. My friend recommended me this TV series called Californication, and this spoke to me on such a deep level, because this is the story about the writer who published like a successful book, and then he is struggling with writing, and he has this lifestyle of no work, no obligations, just going through life, having adventures, sexual adventures, just enjoying life in his own way. And this lifestyle really spoke to me. Of course, he is this destroyed, addicted, not so developed guy, let's say, but this lifestyle of not having to go to the work and just going through life, writing sometimes, having your work from the past, making money passively and allowing you to live, having these sexual adventures, this was something that really inspired me, truly. That first time in my life I noticed, even if it's like a TV series, but I noticed like, wow, this is really possible, that I could write something successful and this could give me money, and actually a lot of money, and then I could just live life and I wouldn't have to go every day to this fucking 8 hours of prison. So during that time, subconsciously, I took the decision that I will become a version of Hank Moody, just not having any obligations, just living life. And what's interesting as well, I learned later, I really associated myself with him because this character, Hank Moody, was a character type ENTP, which is actually my type, ENTP. I'm thinking in the same way, and I am very similar to this guy in a way, like having these stupid sarcastic jokes, creative. So this is what I wanted to say. So what is important, back then I started listening to audiobooks. The first audiobook I listened to was The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. So this is the book about the Stoicism, the ancient philosophy. As being the first book of self-development, except these pickup books, it's really shaped my mindset about failure. Basically, my entire life is a failure, as shit as it may sound. But failure is the way, an obstacle is the way. So this book showed me that no matter the shit situation you are in, you can always take the lesson. That the life is dual, and there's always good part and the bad part, and you can always focus on the good part. And the guy who always takes the lesson will be the most powerful guy in the span of the entire lifetime. Yeah, so I was thinking like that. Even if someday I will go to the jail, I can use it on my advantage. Even if I will lose the leg, then I could use it as a power to develop my mental game. Even though some shit may happen to me in my life, like this breakup, it's only enriching me with experience, with expertise. Even if the worst thing will happen, the best thing I can do with that is I will write a story about it, and I will write a book about it. This is a very good point to talk about failure and my approach to failure, because I'm from this Christian family. Because there are a lot of Christians that are fake and they're just faking it. But my parents are living by these values, truly. So my dad was always showing me to support the weaker. We were watching football, we were always supporting the weaker team. And my cousin, he was 5 years younger than me. We were playing football, and when he lost, he was crying and he was like losing his mind. And I've always treated failure as just like I was literally used to losing. My dad convinced me that losing was normal and was a fine part of life. Because I can understand the powerful philosophy out of that. But this was a little too much. I took it a little bit too much because I identified with a loser. I identified with failure. In sales, they were these guys. They were so desired to succeed that they were succeeding. And I was just like, okay, another failure. No worries. Normal thing. And I didn't have this passion for winning, because in my house with my dad, the winning was kind of like mocked. The winners, like Cristiano Ronaldo, he was like a bad guy. you can fucked up the kid in many ways. I see like the losing part has definitely helped me in my lifetime, but also it took something from me, this passion for winning and this desire and this drive for winning. I don't have that. But yeah, this is really interesting. So I was feeling like in a jail, and I've always wanted to do something creative. When I was around 8 years old, in 2004, 2005, my mom bought me a Star Wars notebook. This was this big notebook. In my mind, I envisioned myself creating my own book, my own story. So I drew the entire comic book, 7th episode, Revenge of the Jedi, with my characters, with my stories, with my dialogues. And this was filled with Easter eggs, with hidden meanings, with jokes. This was cool. This was a cool book. And I was like, yeah, I've made it. I've made the entire comic book. It was like 60 pages. And there I made another one about my superhero that I made up. And I've always knew I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to be the storyteller. So in high school, I've read Witcher and I read Game of Thrones. And this was so inspiring to me. Yeah, you can create this entire world and have this big political games, this big political war, and having these nations fight with each other, and then you can zoom in and they are lives of people. And I wanted to write something epic like this, and I wanted it so badly, and I was writing it, and I wrote, I think, 35 chapters, 300 pages, and it was only beginning of my story. So I created the world, I created the characters, I created the plots, everything, and I had so much ideas. And I remember this one day, it was Saturday, and I was home alone, and I just made myself this 1 liter of tea, bring myself a chocolate, and I was just sitting there eating chocolate, drinking tea, writing the chapter of the thief trying to sneak into some safe, and I was inside of this story, living with these people, being in these dialogues, and the ideas coming to my head, being a god, creating the entire universe. This was so cool, but I have never finished it. Many projects I just dropped at 70% completion. And this book, it's still there somewhere in my notes. But yeah, I just always wanted to be a writer. In Czech Republic, I was really into listening to audiobooks. I was going to the gym and I was listening a lot. And I wanted to learn about sales. So I read Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, by The Wolf of Wall Street. And this is such a great book, and he has such a great mindset. The movie is fun and the movie is goofy and stuff, but he is a real deal when it comes to sales. Really, he's so good. And he is pointing me towards this different tone of voices. Sounds fair enough? A brilliant idea. This is so good, tone of voices and your rhythm and how you speak. And this is what I think is very important on YouTube as well. A lot of YouTubers I see that speak like this in robotic tone of voice, and they have the same tone all the time, and they don't have sometimes this and sometimes this. You get to learn tones of voices. He had this entire system of a sales script. You call this guy, you tell him about the product or service, and you ask for a sale, and he says no. And it's all about asking questions, and these tricky questions like, do you like the idea? Yeah, I like the idea. Okay, so if we would know each other for many years, would you buy it? Yeah, maybe. So let me introduce myself. I am this and this and this. I'm Francis, blah, 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 blah. So to kickstart our cooperation, I'll propose 50% today. And even though if you'll earn even half as my clients, you'll be double happy that we started. Sounds fair enough? And this is so logical, and this is so good. I can't speak it right now, and I can't speak in English like this. But when you learn this, approaching this guy from different points, because all of this, what client says is bullshit. Never mind. But I also read many books about self-development. I read, for example, Think and Grow Rich back then. I've read Obstacle is the Way. I've read Rich and Poor Dad. I was really interested in money because I wanted to make money and become rich. And there was this thought about entrepreneurship. And this felt like, yeah, this is something that I would like to do. But back then, entrepreneurship and opening my own company, it felt like, yeah, I would have to have some product or service to offer. Maybe one day I'll come up with something. Yeah. So also what is really important, and I need to highlight here, is that I was against the internet. I remember in 2017 having this video from Mr. Beast recommended to me. And this was something, yeah, we bought our own island. And I felt like puking. These fucking rich American kids are playing these shallow games without any fucking value. And they are buying those islands and they are making this money out of YouTube. And this is so shallow. And I would never watch something like this. Never. So I clicked don't recommend this channel. Then Matt Diavela popped out to me on The Life of the Minimalist, and I watched it, and it has some kind of a funny sketch at the beginning, like he has this empty room and he has empty drawers and stuff, and I was like, this is not what true minimalism is all about. I was just angry, I was just pissed off, I was just jealous that these guys can make it, they can make art, because in a way, Mr. Beast's videos are art, and Matt Diavela is definitely an artist. But I was so pissed off that they are shallow and YouTube is shallow, and I want to write books and I want to write something deep. Because I had this feeling of the old Facebook. The old people posted the photos of their kids and there was a lot of political arguments, and I hated it. It felt to me like this is just a waste of time. So I just deleted my Facebook, I deleted my Instagram, and I was only watching YouTube. But probably I just watched some videos about sales and about self-development. The idea of the internet business of making some digital product was never in my mind. Was never in my mind. Never. I wouldn't even think about it, that I could do something like this here and now. The most important book I read back then was Mastery by Robert Greene. And I read it when I was in sales in Czech Republic. And he talks about this choosing one skill and developing your life to master it. To spend 10,000 hours and 20,000 hours to master this skill. He says basically, you can just focus on that and the rest will take care of itself. So when I was working in sales, it was a little bit uneasy for me to read it but I didn't want to admit that. I felt that I'm not following my purpose, that this job in sales is just so not for me. And I was kind of excited at the beginning, but at the end I was miserable. And I knew that I wanted to create, I wanted to write stories, as I wrote the comic book in 2005. Epic fantasy book. I knew I wanted to do something like this. So it was a little bit unsettling. So when I was living in Ostrava in Czech Republic in this office, I was thinking how cool it would be to live off my writing, consume art and wisdom and distill it into my own creativity, and to write stories and to just write and create. Yeah, but this was blocked for me. That writers are not making money in 21st century. Writing is all dead and creatives are hungry artists. Not for me. I'm a salesman. I'm making the big money in Dubai. So I was having sometimes these feelings like, okay, I really need to quit this job. I'm so shit at this job. This is not for me. I'm frustrated every day. I am pissed off. And I'm on zero, I'm having zero sales. And I just want to create, I will just go and I will just find something. And then my manager, he could so good pinpoint my weak points. He said, yeah, so what we will do? And I said, I don't know, I could like open my own company and okay, so what you will sell? I don't know, but yeah, so you don't have the plan. So you don't even have a plan. And I was like, yeah, but maybe I will write something. You want to write the books? Are you fucking stupid, man? Yeah, but, and he said, man, you're so close. You're so close. You're this close. You want to quit right now? I mean, of course you can quit, but then you will have to start once again, and you already build up almost 2 years of investment in yourself, and now you want to quit. And all of these arguments were like, yeah, you're right, yeah. So I was always going out motivated again to work harder. And as I know right now, working harder isn't the answer. I was working hard for 1.5 years and it didn't bring me any results. If working harder was the answer, I would be so fucking successful, man. Working hard isn't the answer. I should force myself to work less, but I was so afraid to do it. So I was kind of in prison. But there was this period of time that they moved us to Prague, to the Czech Republic capital, and I was there with the other manager. I said, okay, so finally a big city, so I will have like a social life, and I'll go to the dates, and I'll go maybe to the gym, and I'll go for football, and I'm just like, I will set my life perfectly right now, perfectly. And it was the total opposite. Our company were going through some crisis, and we were having crisis in our team as well. My new manager was pissed off on me. I was getting zeros again, and I was so tired. And we, with my friends, I'm not proud of that, but we were drinking in the office. Yes, we were drinking. And our manager said, you can drink if it brings the results, if it helps you with the sales, you can drink, but you get to work. So we were drinking in the office almost every day, and it was like terrible dark times. And during this day, One day I had the argument with my manager and I said to him, honestly, I am on zero, yes, but I'm so tired and I am pissed off with this job. I'm so frustrated. This is not my fault. The company goes through some crisis. It is not my fault, and I am ready to quit today. I am ready to quit today, and I will not even try. And through all of my journey with this company, I heard all of the time that everyone is replaceable. If you don't like it, you can just leave today. Every time I heard that. And my manager said to me, man, you cannot quit because there is no one to replace you. And I was like, what? I'm fucking tired with this job. So if there's no one to replace me, I really don't care. I will do my job, but I will not push myself harder. This is not the answer. I will just do my thing. You do your thing, and we should just accept that. And he said, oh, okay. 2 hours later, he comes to me and he said, we need to talk again. Okay. And he said, well, I just got the phone call that I need to fire someone and you have the worst results from our team and I need to fire you. I said, okay. And he said, yeah, I'm so sorry that it came like this and I'm so sorry, this is not my fault. And I'm like, man, I don't think you heard me before. So I was like, it's 2 p.m. Can I go out right now? And he said, yeah, you are fired. And I'm like, I can really go right now? I don't have to wait till 6 p.m.? No, you can just go. And I was like, wow, I can really go outside at 2 p.m. Wow, this was the best day in my life. I just went out from the office and the life felt so fresh. And the adventure hide in the every corner, and I was again the clean slate, and the life had this smell of freedom, of new chance, of a clean slate, of new beginnings, and I was so happy. I was so free, so independent, and I knew that the new chapter is coming to life. The same as me going to my hometown for Christmas and after 3 years meeting my ex-girlfriend for the first time. I went to this party, our school friends party, and there were all of my old friends, and also there was my ex-girlfriend. And this was the first meeting of us. At the time I was in the higher mood. I think I was in the best mood I have ever been. This was the peak day for me. I went there, I felt so confident, I felt so free, I felt like life is open with opportunities and I'm like in the best period and I invested so much in myself, and now letting loose from the past, now I can run free like a extremely highly developed guy. This was 2018 and we had this chat. I think my ego spoke up. We started talking about adventures and about traveling and about things because I did all of this in between, and she said, wow, amazing and so cool. And she said something like she has this boring life, routine and job or studies, I don't remember. And I remember me giving this fiery speech about how life needs more John Lennon and Steve Jobs and how life needs unique people and adventurous people. And I told her that she was always in our pair, she was always the more adventurous, the more courageous, the more open, the more having a big vision. And I was this boring, down-to-earth guy, afraid of life. And now it seems like I'm achieving her goals and she is living the life that she never wanted to do. And I became this adventurer. This was so inspiring speech that I gave, and she said, yeah, wow, you're right. Because I'm speaking right now from a very, very higher perspective. Back then I took a lot of pleasure of feeling like, yeah, I can somehow tell her and show her that I'm better than her. Hey, look at me, I really changed, and sneaking some compliments in the background as well. Yes, some kind of emotions came back and I thought, wow, maybe this is the chance for us after 2 years or 3 years, maybe this is the chance for me to make it up. And I invited her for coffee, but she refused, and this was fine. And at this time I had it worked out, kind of, but still with some thoughts, and there was still something to work out about our relationship, but we didn't talk about it at all. So this year, 2019 was starting, and I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do right now? I knew that I didn't want to go to the sales job again. I knew I needed a break or just stop working in sales. I would hate that. I needed to rest. So I decided that I would take the job as a receptionist, Thai massage parlor. I had basically the whole day for myself. I could read books, I could do something on my computer, so I could do anything I wanted. And my goal was to write my book, because this whole event from breaking up until meeting her again and giving this powerful speech about the meaning of life and meaning of adventures, this felt for me like a perfect idea for a book. So I started writing. The most important book I read back then was Mastery by Robert Greene. In 2019, I read it once again and I felt, yes, writing books is my path of mastery. So I knew I got to write a book about my experiences. And back then I also started reading literature. I was really interested in literature and I read Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, and it blew my mind. It was so brilliant and it was so funny, written in this sarcastic way, and the story is like film. It's just like a movie. This is so short and the scenes are so powerful, and I'm like, wow. Each page is so brilliant. So what I've done is I just sit down with the book and I was rewriting it. And this is so cool tool for writing. When you read, you just consume, but when you rewrite and you think, oh, why this exact word is here and not here, and why this exact word, and then you start to notice this brilliancy and how it works in a close-up. So this was one of the best things I've done. I love Lolita. I read Marcel Proust In Search of Lost Time, and this is so brilliant. This is totally different. This is long, but this is something I wanted to do. This guy was just living his life and distilling it into writing. He was just like a prism. Life just was shining through him and he just created this epic story. And I already read 2 books of his, and there are 7 or 8. Supposedly when you read all of them, you experience this literature multiple orgasm. So I can't wait for it. So I wanted to do the same. I wanted to make myself a prism. So the experience I had in Czech Republic, I wanted to distill it into a book, which will be brilliant, beautiful. Wouldn't be a self-help book. This would be like a novel with a scenes and with different styles and with beautiful language. And so I started to write that. I was working in a spa, having all of the time in the world. I read Atlas Shrugged. This was so boring, man. I was just skipping pages, and Atlas Shrugged ends with this powerful, like 60 pages speech. And I just like, okay, this is so bullshit, this is so inauthentic. I was back in Warsaw in Poland. So I decided that I need to go for the pickup again, because pickup a few years ago was something that I was truly interested in. So I also read The Game by Neil Strauss, and I also read I don't know what it's called. It has some shitty title like How to Get the Woman to the Bed or something like this. This is written by Mystery, this pickup artist. And he basically creates this entire script for the entire interaction with women. And he gives you like this perfect script for approaching any social situation with exact words you should say. For me, this is something like, when I have something like this, when someone gives me the script with exactly what I should say, then I can learn it and I can tweak it for my own. This is what happened with rewriting the books, with rewriting the sales scripts. I'm very creative, but if someone gives me the structure, I'm super productive, man. So again, I was going to a lot of Tinder dates, and again, I was going to the dance classes, and I was approaching girls, finally, a few times. Very important. I started the gym, and I started the gym really closely. I bought this book, Starting Strength, and there is just like 6 exercises, like the main ones. Eating a lot, first time in my life. Finally getting some weight. I had the highest weight of my life, which was 69 kilograms. Not so much still, and I had the best sleep in my entire life because of the gym. I was waking up, I could jump out of the bed. Amazing. But also, very important thing that happened at that time, I watched this movie, Into the Wild. The theme of my thinking was freedom, that I would love to be free, that I've been in this sales prison and I want to be free, and I just want to have the freedom of time, of space, and I can just create independently, and I can just travel and make money out of it and live this perfect lifestyle. So freedom. And in my mind, it was like, yeah, I need to first get money, so I need to first get the job, then I need to get the good job, the promotion, blah, 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 then I can be free. And when I watched this movie, he not only drops everything and just goes, he burns his money. And he goes. So he is forcing himself to freedom. And this movie spits me in the face, saying, hey, you want freedom? You can have it right now. If you want it, you can have it. Don't bullshit yourself and just take it. If you don't want it, shut up. I knew that I needed an adventure. And I was of course thinking about just going to the woods with no money, but I was too afraid to do that. I knew that I needed an adventure, and I needed to end my typical lifestyle. Because I was thinking like, yeah, I am a typical Polish guy, which is so mediocre, and I don't want that. I could move to Spain or Italy, and then I would be at least a mediocre Italian. It's 100% better. So I started to research my options. I can go to Spain and I can work in whatever shit. I can pick up strawberries in the fields, and I could just do whatever, be the waiter in the cruise ship and be fucked in the ass by my boss. I just wanted to live through adventure in this warm country because I felt like I lack summer. I love summer and I love hot weather, and I lack it somehow in my life. So one day, during this time, it came the friend of my sister from Iceland, and he asked me what I'm doing and what I want and blah blah blah. We talk about life, and he said, well, it seems like the Iceland is perfect for you. And I said, man, Iceland is cold. I don't want to go to Iceland. And he said, man, you will find a job like that, you will make a lot of money, you will meet artists, you will have beautiful places to visit, and you will have your adventure just like that. And I said, man, Iceland is cold. I don't like cold. I want summer, man. I want Spain. I want Italy. I don't want Iceland. He said, Iceland is perfect for you. This is the opportunity. I said, no, man, I don't want to go to Iceland. He said, you should. You really should. And I said, okay, so if I would like to go to Iceland, what should I do? And he said, well, if you really would like to go, then call me and I will fix it for you. And I said, okay, so fuck off. But I came back home that day and I said, okay, maybe this is life saying, you want adventure? Here you go. And I said, okay, I will do it. I don't know how, but I'm taking the decision that I will go to Iceland. So I called my friend next day and I said, yeah, I want to go to Iceland. Yeah, I decided, I'm going. And he said, well, it's not that easy, man, because you need a job and it's a little bit hard right now to find a job, and you need also the apartment, but it's super hard to get the apartment. And I said, okay, I decided, no matter what, I decided. I believe that if you put yourself somewhere, it will somehow work out. So I said, I decided, I'm going to Iceland, no matter what, we will figure it out. He said, okay. So back then I started speaking with everybody about it. Like, yeah, I'm going to Iceland next month. I'm going to Iceland. I'm going to Iceland. And I asked my dad if he would borrow me money to go to Iceland as an investment. And my dad, surprisingly, said yes, which I thought he would say no. But he said yes, so I had the money. Suddenly it came out that a lot of people have friends on Iceland. And actually, I even had my friends on Iceland. And I messaged him because he was living in Iceland. And I asked him, hey, what advice would you give me? Like, I'm going to Iceland next month. And he said, take the bicycle. And I said, okay, bicycle. I will not take the bicycle to the plane. It's super expensive. And he said, yeah, bicycles are expensive here, so it's better. It's like, okay, I don't have the bicycle. So I was kind of like doing nothing towards it. There was some Facebook groups I could add myself, but I didn't like Facebook, so I just postponed it. And I was just like speaking, like, yeah, I'm going to Iceland next month, and that's it. And my friend called me in a few weeks, and he asked me, hey, do you have a job already? And I said, well, no, I don't have anything. And he said, so if you want, you can work in my company as a driver, and you can live with us, with me and my wife, and if you need, I can borrow you the money. Then this was it. The entire Iceland journey was just delivered to me. I did literally nothing. I just filled up myself with the feeling of adventure. I decided that I'm going. I put some steps. I took the decision then that I'm going to Iceland, and the entire thing was just manifested through people, through me expressing this want. And it was manifested here and there, and I did exactly nothing, literally nothing. So I went to Iceland with two goals. First goal, saving money. Second goal, writing my book. The first day on Iceland, I wrote the letter to myself for the last day on Iceland, and I kept it. And of course, when you do something like this, you immediately forget what was inside. And this is so interesting to open these letters, but later, it will be later. So I was there in totally different environment. Iceland is beautiful, and Iceland society is kind of cool. By some research, they are the most happy people in the world, and I think it's because of the wealth. Iceland people are wealthy, and they have money, and they then don't have to worry about money at all. And they have a powerful social system. The country takes care of them, and they just live their kind of calm. Of course, they go to the work and they have their stresses, but it's just like chilled out. Why someone should steal your car when he can buy himself two cars like that? Super cool. Very important books I've listened to as audiobooks. The first book was Stephen King's memoir on writing. Since Stephen King says to me, he calls out my bullshit, and he says, if it's not finished, why are you showing it to anyone? Finish it first, then show it. This was a big change for me, because back then I never accomplished anything, and I dropped any project at 70% completion, and I was sending this unfinished project to people and like getting some dopamine hits. But this really spoke to me. Okay, silence is power. I can be just fucking silent about my book and never send it to anyone until it's finished, until I came and I drop it. This is my book. I did it. This was so powerful. Second book, Stephen Pressfield's War of Art. I realized that I, as an artist, I bullshit myself. That I never finished anything because I'm scared of it. Because there is this resistance in me, and resistance is taking me away from my art in various forms by sales. So I just realized, okay, so I really have this artistic inner world that wants to be expressed, and I'm just like pressuring it, pushing it away. And there's this force, this resistance that I get to fight. So with these two books, I was filled with the discipline and the motivation and inspiration to write my own book. I went to Iceland in August 2019, and I set the goal that I will not come back until I finish my book, because this was in my head so important goal for me, to finish it, to finish first time in my life, finish something in the most important project of my life. So I set the goal, I will not come back to Poland, to my friends, to my family, until I finish the book. Okay, so I roughly estimated that I will need 6 months. So I said February I'm going, because my manager told me that there will be no possibility for me to get the holidays for Christmas. And I accepted it. I knew it 6 months ahead, so I accepted it. Okay, this is just how lives work. I will not get the free time for Christmas, so that's fine. In February I will go. So I will have 6 months on Iceland alone for writing my book. So I started writing. And this was such a cool thing, because I was working as a driver, delivering food, not to the people, but to the shops every day, the same route. I knew everyone, I knew everything, so it was me alone the whole day with an audiobook on my headphones, listening to literature, listening to music, listening to audiobooks, listening to lectures. I consumed so much of material. Every day for 8 hours I was consuming art and wisdom in writing and lectures. So good. And I was reading books about how to read books, how to write stories, how everything that came to my mind, and everything I was interested in, I was just listening. And I was thinking constantly during the day about my book. And then I came back home, I ate the dinner, and I was just writing. And these months, November 2019, was so beautiful. I was so much into my book. Everything I consumed back then was pointing me towards new ideas, new inspirations for my books. So I was watching a BoJack Horseman episode, and there were so funny scenes, and I said, I want to have it in my book as well. So I rewrote it, and I wrote a small scene or a small gag in my book. And I noticed some kind of funny situation on the street, and I said, I want to have it in my book. And I put it in the background, and my main character looks through the window and sees this shit. Amazing. I was in total flow. If you have never experienced something like this, you should be jealous. I'm so sad for you. I experienced the true creativity, the true flow that was constantly throughout my days, all the time. And I was awaiting when I finally will end the job and I'll just can come back home and write. And this was something beautiful, because this book just emerged from me. It just was expressed. And this feels for me so colorful and so interesting, and new ideas came to me, and it was perfectly fitting all of the previous ideas. And then I wrote poems, I wrote stories, short stories, jokes, everything is in this book. So this is a book about the guy who breaks up with the girlfriend. He is visited by his future self, and his future self tells him, fuck off man, just take your shit together. And then he goes on the adventure of life and confidence and pickup and girls and experiencing a young adult's life in the beautiful language. And it's like clashing the world of a soft character with the world of scams and business and pickup and manipulation. It has the kind of training inside of it as well, so the reader can go through the training himself with the character. I really like it. I was writing it, and I had approximately 3 months. It was the end of November. I had 3 months, so I said, yeah. So I had the plan, like each week, each chapter, then corrections, then this, and edit, and this, and this. And I have the 1st of February, I have the book finished. And then in November, my friend from the job, he says that he is going to Poland for Christmas holidays. Wait a minute. I was told 5 months ago that it won't be possible. And he said, well, maybe something changed. Then go and ask. So I went to my manager and I asked her, hey, is it possible that I will get the Christmas holidays free? And she said, yeah, of course, why not? I was like, okay. So then I had the 1 month to finish my book. and I was maybe at 70%. And then the true magic happened. I was so pushed to write every day and every single minute that I went into real flow. I felt like a stardust. I felt like a god. I felt like a powerful creator in my own world, I was living there in this story. I was living with these characters, creating these dialogues, and every idea that came to my head which was interesting to me, I can express it and put it on paper and have it even as a background. And I created this microcosm, micro universe in this book. When I was flying home for Christmas in the airport, I was still correcting and adding the name of the chapter, so this was my last day I was doing it. So of course I used the perfect example of making a surprise, because I told my parents that I will not come for Christmas, and I told my friends that I will not come for Christmas, and I just use it as a perfect opportunity to just show up suddenly, which is super cool. And I think you only have few opportunities for this in your life, and you should use it, because this is always cool. So what is interesting, in my book I have this chapter, as it happened really, with meeting your ex-girlfriend on this party and having this powerful speech, and I was reliving that. So I was thinking, if the last year I met her on this party, then this year it will be the same. So I thought, okay, so I will meet her again, because writing this book was also therapeutical for me. I had to revisit everything and I need to bring it on paper, and I think I cured myself from the feelings of the past, which was super cool. So I really wanted to meet. I deeply wanted to talk with her and like express honestly what I felt, just talk, and I even wanted to tell her about this whole book. And I was getting ready, but I was so scared of this meeting again that I got drunk, came to the party, and I totally lost it. So the next day I wake up and I didn't remember anything. I was just like, wow, we definitely talked. Maybe I said some bullshit and I felt so bad, and I just messaged her that I'm so sorry, and this was like, I just lost it. And she said, no, it was fine. Yeah. And again, we didn't meet again. And this felt for me back then as some kind of a lost opportunity, the opportunity for the meeting, the opportunity for the talk. And yeah, and I just could talk with her, in this party, but I just blew it off. Never mind. 2020 has started. I came back to Iceland, and I knew that this year will be different. I knew that this year will be the best year of my life. I said, okay, I finished my book, now it's time for social life. So I want to have a girlfriend on Iceland, I want to have a social life, I need to go to the gym, I need to play football, so everything. There is also a super interesting thing, because yeah, I just finished the book so I can write another one, because I want to be a writer. So one day during this time, in January 2020, my old friend messages me, and he says, yeah, hey man, I heard you live on Iceland. And I said, yeah, I do. And he says, man, this is biggest dream to live on Iceland. This is my biggest dream. And I said, okay, so why you want to do it? And he said, I will now go to England, and in England I will make money, and then after England in 8 months I will be in Iceland. And I felt back then so many people helped me, because I saw myself always as this lucky guy. Lucky, super lucky. A lot of people have bad luck, but I like to say that I'm lucky, and I affirm I'm lucky, and a lot of people truly helped me, and I see it as luck. And I felt like, yeah, my entire life I was just gathering luck for myself from others, and now someone is coming to me and I can give out my luck. So I said to him, man, if you really want to do this, don't postpone yourself. Just come to Iceland tomorrow and I will fix everything for you. And don't say you don't want it, because then you will sound like a fucking bullshitter. If this is your true dream, we can fix the apartment together, I can fix you the job, and I can borrow you the money. The same as my friend told me. And he said, oh man. And I said, really, don't. If he would say no, I would be so angry. So I said, just take it. Really, you would like to help me? And say, yes, okay. He said, I will come. And then I felt something. The idea came to my mind. What if my entire life I was just gathering luck for myself, and now first time in my life I would give out my luck and I will lose it? And this was so cool idea for the book. So I immediately think like, yeah, there is this character that is lucky all the time, and then finally he helps someone else first time and he loses all of his luck. And I immediately started writing. So I rented the apartment for 2 of us, the perfect apartment. I was fixing the job for him, and we fixed the tickets. I borrowed him the money, and he came to Iceland 8th of March 2020. And when he came, the next day was the start of COVID pandemic and the total lockdown. Suddenly in one day huge amount of people lost their jobs. A lot of companies just closed. The entire tourism on Iceland just shut off. It was so bad. There was no job. The social security system was holding people that lost the job, but the new people that came didn't even have the documents to work there yet. It was impossible. So I still got my job. I still held my job, and I was kind of helping my friend, but he couldn't find anything. And we were living in this cool apartment, but in this kind of sad atmosphere of failure and of like a missed opportunity. And in this situation, I was so experienced with some kind of things like that. The life sometimes is against you, but this is not the way to be discouraged. You should just go through and be motivated and push hard, like in sales or in pickup or whatever. But my friend, he didn't have these experiences I had. So he couldn't see it as that positive. He should read the obstacle is the way. And he will see that this situation could only push him forward. And he could use this sadness to motivate him to push forward. But sadly enough, he had to leave Iceland after like 4 months without job, which was really sad. So it came out that I haven't lost my luck. And my friend, even though he got the luck from me, he couldn't keep it. Really interesting thought. And I was writing this book. Writing. The book is called Lacker. I don't know if it's a word in English, but who cares? Yeah, I also wanted to say something about COVID. Because COVID on Iceland was nothing serious. Okay, people lost their jobs. I didn't. And I was kind of frustrated because people lost their jobs and they suddenly got these unemployment benefits and they had so much time. And they were saying like, ooh, I have so much time, I don't know what to do. And I was like so frustrated because I kept my job and I would totally knew what to do with my free time. I would totally knew. I would write, I would train, I would create. I had so many ideas, but I was not granted this opportunity of losing the job. And COVID on Iceland was easy. Everything was open, the bars were open, they were just closing them at 10 p.m. which was stupid because like, oh, it's 10 p.m. now the COVID is spreading suddenly. So a lot of people experienced this lockdown that suddenly they cannot go outside and cannot meet their friends. But I was actually living in the COVID lockdown before it was cool, because I created this lifestyle for myself and I was kind of doing the monk mode, but I didn't know it was something like this. I was just living in my room and writing and working and prioritizing saving money, so I had no fancy lifestyle back then. Yeah, 2020, my friend left Iceland and I was left alone, and I moved to the different apartment and I met new people. I met the Icelandic lady and she was older than me. She was like, she was in her late 40s. She was living this lifestyle of working remotely, traveling the world and thinking of, yeah, what I want to do in the future. And this was something to me like, wow. Because this is also very important theme, time. There is this song by Pink Floyd called Time, and I wish I could play it here. So there is this line of, that you suddenly realize that 10 years passed and you didn't do anything, and now it's too late and now you're starting to run, but it is like too late. I heard this song first time when I was 14, 15, and this line really spoke to me like deeply. Like, hey, life is short, your time here is short, use it, because if you don't use it right now, it will be too late in the future. A lot of old people realize that they wasted their lives. So actually, me being young at that age, 14, 15, I have like 50 years of gap to develop myself and to do something. So I was living constantly in the fear of time passing. I saw myself being 30 years old, and it was so scary that if I don't accomplish anything by the age of 30, I'm done. I'm a total failure. But actually, meeting those Icelandic, a little bit older people, thinking, yeah, what I want to do in the future, this showed me, wow, life doesn't end by the age of 30. So this was really inspiring, actually, to meet older people that they were enjoying life and they were traveling, they were having adventures, they were doing it differently than the people I know. Because all of the 50 years old knew at the time, they were having kids and maybe even grandkids, and they were just ending life, working in these shitty jobs, not traveling, making barely any money, and not enjoying life. So I deeply envision myself that if I won't achieve anything by the age of 30, then by the age of 50 I will be the same. Those people telling me that I'm 25 years old, so I'm 25 years ahead, and I already am conscious enough and developed enough, and they wish they would be so conscious enough in my age, was something that really killed this time pressure that I had. But actually I was grateful that, okay, maybe I'm not in that bad situation. Maybe actually I'm in a pretty cool situation. But it is easy, of course, to compare yourself with 19 years old on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube. But actually, when you compare yourself with 50 years old that haven't accomplished anything yet, they are just starting, you see the advantage of your age, and you can be grateful for that. So this is an important lesson. Gratitude for where you are right now, no matter the age. Because I can bet that there is someone that is 80 years old and just realized that he or she wasted their lives, and they are starting being 80 years old. So my friend, my Icelandic friend, introduced me to another friend of hers, and he was also like in his 40s, 50s. And this guy was a really important person to me because he introduced me to something called spirituality. And back in the day, I've read The Secret and I said, yeah, this sounds like a total bullshit, man. I believe in the psychological way of doing this. Like, you psychologically tell yourself some things and then you start to believe it, so you notice it more often, suddenly appears in your life. But this is not sudden, it is just like an invisible you creating it, something like this. I believed in the psychological way, so this was cool. But actually, the universe being a kind of a god and universe conspiring to do something for you, this sounded to me like fucking bullshit. And when someone mentioned the universe, I would cringe. I would say, oh. So with this guy, he started talking about the universe and I was like, like, can we slow down? And he was like, oh, so you're triggered by this word, so you should work with that. This was something new. So also in the many books on self-development, I've read that meditation is key. Meditation. And a lot of people were speaking about meditation, but I never really tried meditation. Meditation seemed to me then that something super complex and something really hard. And this guy, he said that he's meditating 1 hour per day and I can join him. So I said, yeah, I would actually like to have someone to show me how to do it. And he said, this is really simple. You just sit down, you close your eyes, you set the timer for 20 minutes or 1 hour, and you just notice your breath. And when you realize that your mind just went off, then you come back to the breath, and that's it. I said, okay, that's it. So yeah, let's do it. Also, very important point here. So I went to Iceland with 2 goals. Writing my book, which I accomplished, and second goal was to save money. And I wanted to save money to have enough money to live without working for 2 years. And I was slowly saving. And actually I was putting saving very high on my priorities list. And I was spending a really little on Iceland. I was really hoarding money. So I was going to this time where I would be eligible for the unemployment benefits. So maybe I'm not so proud of that, but I saw this opportunity that when you work on Iceland for 1 year, you can then apply for unemployment benefits that will sustain you without working. So I saw myself as like, yeah, this is the opportunity. So I wanted to have a free life to write, and I was saving for that, but actually I could have a free life and someone would pay for that. So I said, yeah, I will go for unemployment benefits. And I got them, which I'm not proud of that because I kind of lied, I could work, but yeah, this was just my decision back in the day. And I would probably do it again, even if it's abusing the system a little bit. So I got the unemployment benefits. I had the 100% of the time. This was actually my dream. This was my dream coming true. Because since I started working, I was living weekend by weekend and vacation to vacation. I was constantly waiting for the times of not working because I had so big projects and so many ideas and I wanted to create that I was waiting all the time for these free moments of freedom. And actually, first time in my life, I got 100% of the time. And I knew that this is so big opportunity for me and I will not waste it. I will not sleep to 3 p.m. and I will jerk off or whatever. I will just use this time perfectly for self-development and writing. Suddenly, I had 24 hours to design my lifestyle, which was amazing. So I asked this guy, hey, what should I put in my 24 hours? And he said, first of all, you should regulate your sleep and go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. This is the core, this is the most important thing. Second, the most important habit is meditation, at least 1 hour per day. Start with 20 minutes per day and each week increase by 5 minutes, and then in a few weeks you will go to 1 hour per day. The most important habit because you will gain consciousness, you will gain awareness, you will experience life totally differently. So meditation is key. Next, the gym. So the gym is so important because it's healthy. With the gym, you have to take care of your nutrition, and the best diet to do it is ketogenic diet. And I didn't know what is ketogenic diet. I said, okay. And then doing your work, which is writing every day, then affirmations, visualizations, law of attraction stuff, reading books, journaling. I was already doing it, writing my diary. Yeah, this was the lifestyle. And I said, okay. So day one of my unemployment benefits freedom, I applied this plan 100%. I would wake up 7 a.m. I would do my affirmations, visualizations, then I would write, then I would meditate, then I would go to the gym, then and very important part here, I started the ketogenic diet. So I've read this book about keto diet and I understood the entire system, and I said, okay, well, let's just do it. So I cut down the carbohydrates, and oh man, after cutting the carbohydrates, I was furious. I was in my worst mood ever. I wouldn't describe myself as angry or as rude, but for these 2 days, I thought I would kill someone. I was so irritated. I was so angry, and I was constantly thinking about something sweet to eat. And I was constantly thinking about the Snickers ice cream that I had in my fridge. And I was like so holding myself to not eat it. So frustrated, so angry. But after 2 days, my cravings were totally gone. It was 2020. Since then, I had no cravings at all. No cravings. And I'm on keto for almost 4 years right now. This diet is so aligned with my philosophy of life because I deeply believe in dopamine detox and I deeply believe in deep stuff. So for example, I don't like TikTok and I don't like Instagram. I don't like even like YouTube videos. I just like books, courses, lectures, deep, long stuff. And for me, keto is the same. But you got the things that are sweet, delicious, but they have no nutritional value. So for example, you get pasta, you get potatoes, and you exchange them with like something nutritionally dense. And I just love keto. It's just, I know that on keto I will never be fat. I have so much energy. I don't experience hunger like many people do. Like this hunger that I need to eat something. I totally changed my hunger feelings. I have no cravings. Of course, I have this psychological craving of like, this looks delicious. I would really like to eat this chocolate. But I don't have this physical craving, like, I need to eat something. I need to eat something sweet. Don't have that. And I wouldn't even talk about the health benefits because I'm not the expert and actually I'm just doing it on my own. But I was consulting with dietitian and yeah, everything is fine with me. So ketogenic diet, highly recommend to anyone. I love fats and I eat a lot of fat, which is counterintuitive. And I purified my mind from dopamine, from food. So I eat food mostly for value, not just for pleasure, which is, I think, really important and like a self-development. Yeah, I also started painting back then. So this is also cool because my friend who was totally not artistic and totally not creative type, he showed me his paintings. He was painting these abstract, like splashing the paint on the canvas type of paintings, which was really simple to do and it looked really well. I was so jealous because I said in my mind, wow, this guy, he has nothing to do with creativity, he has nothing to do with artistic ways. And me, the artist, the creative guy, I am not painting and he is. This must change. I wanted to buy acrylic paints and start painting, but by mistake I bought watercolor paints. And I was so frustrated because I wanted acrylics, because I tried them before. But my friend said, yeah, maybe you should try watercolors, maybe it will be cool for you. And I said, watercolors are hard. It's like you put water and it's like splashes out. I don't like that. And he said, just give it a try. So what was fun about my watercolor journey was like I started watching these YouTube videos and they were doing these gradients and beautiful things, and I was trying to do the same, but it didn't work. This is something is broke, something is not working. And then they said that the paper should be like 100% cotton. This is the best paper. So I went and bought this 100% cotton paper. Suddenly, all of my paintings were suddenly beautiful. And I really loved painting since then. And I started painting with watercolors. I decided that I will just paint 100 pictures, small pictures, and in 100 days I will learn how to do it perfectly. So I was painting, which is important because we will come to paintings later. So I was living through my perfect routine and I was really happy with the time I had. I actually moved to small town in the north of Iceland. And I was living there with my friend and I was meditating every day for 6 months straight. And about meditation, I realized that I really experience life differently. So for example, nothing changed in the surface, but having this day with a lower mood, I actually catch myself. Hey, I'm in a lower mood. What's happening? Why is that? And I realize, hey, what is causing my lower mood? Oh, this is this thing. Like I have some kind of a meeting, stressful meeting next week. Okay, so it's actually kind of stupid feeling this way today. So I can just resolve it. Yeah, and I can be happy again, which was amazing. And I realized many things. So for example, during this time I was thinking, okay, in a few months I'm coming back to Poland and I'm having right now this perfect, pure lifestyle with no drinking, basically no addictions. No addictions. So I was thinking, yeah, I will go to Poland and all of my friends will want to drink with me. Yeah, like celebrate. So during the meditation, it just came to me. It was obvious that I should quit drinking 100%. That I achieved the level of development like a little bit higher. And on this level, drinking is just useless. So if it's useless, I should quit it and never come back to it again. And this was obvious. So I decided, okay, I quit drinking from today. So since then, I drink few times. I sometimes allow myself to drink. Yeah, so during the year I would drink, let's say 4 times. But if someone asks me, I'm not drinking at all. I'm sober, I'm not drinking. And if someone asks me like why, because they think maybe I'm alcoholic, then I tell them this story that of my realization. Yeah, so during this time, at the end of my Icelandic journey, I also went through this course by Leo Gura from actualize.org, and this was the life purpose course, and this was really important step. I was watching a lot of actualized.org, and this is the type of content that I want to consume. Long, deep, uncut, so wise, the real self-development work. And actually I was thinking back then that I would like to do the same type of videos, but I was thinking, hey, this guy is like 100 levels higher than me and he's already putting so good work, so there's no space for me. He has this course and my friend was going through this course. This course really approaches your personal story, your strengths, your values from different perspectives. There are a lot of exercises to do, and you going through this course, few many hours, you start to know yourself better, and you start to notice, oh, there are the recurring patterns, there are recurring themes in my life that I never seen before, and actually maybe I subconsciously push myself towards some things I never seen before. So I went through this course and I established my values in life: creativity, freedom, and wisdom. If you do the work which is not creative, not wise, and is not going through freedom, then you won't be happy. And this was so obvious thinking about the work in sales, for example. Like, yeah, this was nothing creative, this was nothing wise, and nothing freeing me up. This was like a prison to me. I know the questions that I would like to answer for the world, how to be your friend with your subconscious mind. Maybe I will tell something about the subconscious, because subconscious it's really interesting topic for me. And it was interesting since I was, again, 10. I was watching this program on Discovery Channel and it was about placebo. So they gave the students the beer with no alcohol and they tell them that this is a real beer, and they got drunk. And I started thinking back then, like, yeah, there is something like this conviction that actually our mind can shape the reality. And then learning about subconscious mind, you driving the car and not even realizing you drive the car, being seamless, and your habits that are executed mindlessly. This is so powerful and this is so cool topic to me. Time, super interesting topic to me. I would love to write an essay and make the video about time and my thinking about time, because there is something of writing letter to yourself and opening this letter 2 years later, and you actually communicate through time with yourself. And actually you can sit right now and write a letter to yourself from the future, trying to act as your future self, which is also kind of communicating through time. So this is bending reality on paper. Pretty interesting topic. Also, freedom, creativity, yeah. And my life purpose, which is shaping, it's not like constant, but in one sentence was inspiring others by my books, brilliant, funny, yet wise. And this one sentence, inspiring others by my books, brilliant, funny, yet wise, this is a sentence that is so aligned with me. It's so close to my heart. Brilliant, funny, yet wise. This is what I really care about. I want to write brilliantly. I want to be funny, which is not like having the stick in my ass, but it is also having a lot of value. This is wise writing. So if you would read Dostoevsky or Marcel Proust or Nabokov, all of them, they write funny. These books are funny. There is this sarcastic commentary in the background, in between the lines. At the same time, it's funny, but it touches the deepest topics in life. Awesome. So, at the end of the course, there is this exercise that you should have your values, your life purpose, and your strengths, and your questions and your goals written down on a piece of paper, on like a separate pieces of paper, and you should check yourself every day to spend 5 minutes reading them for 90 days straight. And if you fail one day, you got to start again. And I don't think I have ever done something consistently for every day for 90 days. Yeah, but this was a challenge. So I created this folder where I just put these pieces of paper. I took the technical hard paper, I wrote down everything, and I was revisiting it every day. And this was so cool because when I was reading a book and there was this sentence speaking out to me, like super powerful quote, I said to myself, hey, I would like to remember this quote. So I would just make another piece of paper separately and put it into my folder. So every day I was opening the folder and I was reading the new sentence. And this was actually pretty exciting, like adding wisdom. And this wisdom wouldn't just vanish, wouldn't disappear, because it was constantly repeated in my folder. So in this way, I was programming my subconscious mind. I was having my goals, everything. So I came to the point that I have these hundreds of pieces of paper of my notes. For example, like this. You get friends, not follower, community mindset. Something like this. So something like reminder to myself. Hey, this is not my actual folder, but this is like a set of my old folders. And I have so much notes and I have so much wisdom. So this was actually kind of my system of taking notes. So I have this folder with Rembrandt painting, which is exhibited in Poland, which is pretty cool. And there I have my set of things I wanted to remember. Like for example, I have the posture technique for writing. Because when you learn some concepts, it is so easy to forget about them in a few days. But as Bob Proctor says, repetition is the absolute key. And Bob Proctor is actually an ENTP as well. So I was living on Iceland for 2 years, and there come the point of me going back to Poland. And I had this letter to myself that I wrote during the first week on Iceland. And I remember opening this letter that was waiting for me for 2 years in the airport when I was going back to Poland. And I opened the letter, and this was so cringe. This was like a younger, irritating colleague of yours that you don't even like, trying to give you advice. And I was like, man, you don't even know life. Do you know how much I experienced during these 2 years and you're trying to tell me some wisdom? You know shit, man. And this was the feeling of the real development. Like, wow, I really wrote 2 books. I changed my diet. I purified myself from dopamine. I quit drinking. I started the gym. I met new people. I changed my philosophy. I started meditating. I gained consciousness. This was really important period in my life. And this guy, living in his room, eating junk food, jerking off, not going to the gym, is trying to advise me? No way, man. But I actually decided that this is a cool concept of writing letters to yourself and trying to predict what will happen and then seeing the development. This was kind of cool, so I wanted to keep that habit. So I came back to Poland and I was actually having my dream setup. I had the money saved. I was able to afford an apartment only for myself, for living alone. There was summer in Poland, so I knew that this is the best time of my life. I can just live, I don't have to work, I can just write, I can just do whatever I want. And I have no obligations, like Hank Moody. Yeah, so I came back to Poland and I was living there. I was going to the Tinder dates and I was kind of experiencing life. But actually I was miserable. Even though I had the money for, let's say, half a year of living, I was actually miserable because I was afraid that 6 months from now I won't have any money and I will be just as broke as I was. And this is something really interesting about me, and I guess about many people, that even though you kind of achieve your goals, you are afraid then to lose them. And because I was in this situation, I had the time and I had my life purpose of writing, but I had no way of making money. and I didn't know anything about making money. For me, making money was just training my time for the resources. And of course I knew about entrepreneurship, but I had no idea of selling some product or whatever. So it was close to me. So I was afraid of losing money. So I took the best book on the topic, which was Think and Grow Rich. So I read Think and Grow Rich, and there's this cool system of setting a goal and basically creating the perfect system of achieving this goal through like many angles. And there's also this mental part, mental part of visualization, reminding yourself every day about your goal and stuff. This book led me to Bob Proctor, and this led me to Law of Attraction, and this led me to really going deep into it. So I said, okay, I was always laughing about Law of Attraction, it was stupid to me, but actually there is something about it. And if so many people are talking about it, there must be something in it. So let me just try it. I established my goal, the goal bigger than me, the goal bigger than my life, and the goal outside of my comfort zone. And my goal was Mustang Fastback 1967. Thinking about this car, of me driving this car, of me having this car, was so distant and yet so exciting. Mustang Fastback 1967 was just like a symbol of me getting rich, getting to another level. So I did everything, everything. So I just put the pictures on my walls, I had the affirmations everywhere, I had everything, and I was doing these affirmations, visualizations, like me driving this car and speeding up, and I had the sounds, me speeding up, and yeah, this was kind of cool. So I was creating new memories, and I had this card in my wallet. Like just before 1st of March 2022, I have my own red Mustang Fastback 1967 with this logo. It's kind of cool. I even bought myself keys to the Mustang with a Mustang logo, and I also bought myself these small reminders, Mustang Fastback 1967. So this car is in my style. This is rock and roll, old, deep, classy with style, but it's so powerful and fast, and it's like the personification, I mean the symbol of myself. It's so close to my heart. So I was doing it, and basically I put all of my hopes into the Law of Attraction. There's this book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And this lady talks in this book of people that they were having no chance, but they were just trusting the universe and they were preparing for it and they got it. So I had the date 1st of March 2022, which was like the date I would end my money savings, and I was envisioning the Mustang that I have it and stuff. Also in this year 2022, I applied for studies. I went to the university in Warsaw, and I wanted to do something aligned with my life purpose, which was writing books. So I went for modern publishing, and this was something really interesting because 1st of October, when the university started, I went there and I went through the crowd of young people, and they were hundreds of young people, and I felt that first time in my life I am allowed to be in these social gatherings. I am finally not alone, I am finally with people, and I'm going to the university. I will meet again 50, 100 new people. This was really a happy thought. Yeah, so what was really interesting about this Law of Attraction was the day I started the Red Mustang visualization, and I took the decision that I am buying this shit. Same day, I went outside, and next to my sister's home, I saw this very red Mustang being in this car dealership, a little bit destroyed, like crashed, but it was this car, and I was like, wow, it's kind of manifested already. Next day, there was this huge advertisement of a new Mustang, like 2020, and you could win it. You would have to buy some kind of product, and then there would be a lottery, and you could win it. And funny enough, the date of them giving me the Mustang was 28th of February, and I had on my card written down that I will have my Mustang before 1st of March. So this was like, wow, this is mine. This is mine. This is mine. Like the universe is already giving it to me. Yeah, but well, in December there was the lottery and I lost. And the closer it was to the 1st of March, I was getting more fear, and Law of Attraction didn't work. And probably a lot of people would say, yeah, because you did it wrong, or you tried too much, or you didn't allow yourself. But I really wanted to. It wasn't like I just did whatever. I really tried hard. to not trying hard. Yeah, so this was kind of my investigation into the law of attraction. During this time, I read the book Reality Transferring, which was eye-opening and really one of the most important books I have ever read, because he touches upon so many concepts of like invisible law of life that I have never seen anyone else talk about these kind of things. And yeah, this was super cool. So I was in this point where I had no money next month, and I realized that I really need to find a job. So I dropped my dreams about the Mustang and I just went to find a job. And I decided that I will go to the only job that I know how to do, which was job in sales. But I said that I will approach it totally differently and I would just use the law of attraction to attract my dream job. So I put on a piece of paper all of the qualities of the job that I wanted. So it was like well paid, with cool people, not in the office, but a lot of outside. I was reading it every day, just reading, nothing else. And then after a few months, when I was working in this job, I realized it had all of the qualities that I wrote on the piece of paper. So coming back to the sales job after a few years, with a new excitement and with new tools, like spiritual tools, I knew that I will succeed. What is interesting as well, I decided back then that I will get the girlfriend. Through my entire journey, I'm not speaking about the dates I had and the romances and the girlfriends I had. Through this entire journey, I was on many Tinder dates, and I had like a small relationships and dating and romances, but I don't want to speak about them here. But during this time, I decided that I really want to have a girlfriend and have a meaningful relationship, and I already have a space for my girl. And I just decided, okay, I want to have a girlfriend. And the same as with the job, I put the qualities on a piece of paper and I put these little scenes, what we are doing together, and I was just reading it every day. And during this time, I went to probably 15, 20 Tinder dates, and I had a lot of like friends on dates and shallow dates and totally not sexual dates, and cool dates were like a lot of failure with dating. This is what I'm trying to say, because I realized that I don't want to be this player and this pickup artist anymore that I've been before, this rude guy, this guy who will say to the girl that she's fat or she's ugly. I wanted to be my true self, and I experienced a lot of failure with that. But again, there was this one girl from my studies, and actually after a few months she messaged me herself, basically telling me that she wanted to be with me. And this was really interesting because in my high school, for example, I had these opportunities of girls wanting to be with me, but I was never interested in them. I was always interested in this unavailable, higher level, beautiful, out of my league girls, and I was always miserable. So first time in my life, I decided, okay, I'll give it a try. And I entered the beautiful relationship with a true, valuable woman. Awesome. I was working in sales in this job, and this was kind of a cool job with negotiations, but I didn't like it. And I remember in June 2022, I decided, fuck this shit. I really need to take care of my finances. I really need to make some money. A lot of people are making money online, and I don't know anything about it, but let's just put it into Google, how to make money online. And there was this video from Iman Ghazi that I didn't know about him anything. And there was this grid of what is the best way to make money. And the best way to make money online was to sell internet courses. I already had some experiences with courses. I bought this Getting Your Girlfriend Back. I bought course about publishing a book before. I bought a lot of courses, and I knew that the courses are not scams. They are just the ways of sharing knowledge. I bought the life purpose course and it was amazing. And I knew that the courses are super valuable. And there was this course about making courses from Kevin David that I bought, and I decided that I will make my own course about writing books, and I will make so much money. And I went through all of the videos in the course. I went through all of the exercise. I even opened the company in US, which for me was like something like so high level. And I even made my Facebook profile. I was writing in these Facebook groups. I was making some lead magnets. But there was also one thing in the course: making a YouTube channel. So I need to take you back to 2019 when I was writing my book in the small room in Iceland. And I was actually thinking of, okay, I will write this book, and then what? So I can go to the publisher, but I knew that the publishers are these fuckers who have so many books and they don't know what to do with them, and like 90% of the books are just like fuck you. So I knew that publisher is a hard way to go, but I could actually publish myself. Self-publishing, it's pretty cool, and 100% profit goes to me. But to self-publish, you got to have people to buy your book. And then I was thinking, what if I'll build the audience first, the true following, and then I'll publish my book, and then people will buy. And maybe I should just start creating videos about it in 2019. And no, I totally dropped the idea. I truly wanted to do YouTube, and I always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I was so afraid of doing it. This was so blocked because I didn't know how or about how to make videos. Yeah, so I blew it. So when I revisited this thought during this course of making courses, that I will have to make my own YouTube channel about writing, it was super scary to me. But I decided, okay, I will do it. This was August 2022, and I decided that I will make a YouTube channel. But before, I started researching how to make a YouTube channel and how to go viral and how to edit the videos and how to. So I was in this constant mode of learning, afraid to take action. I changed the sales job to another sales job. I remember writing a script for my first video, which basically says freedom is not enough, and tells this story that I already told you. I had the freedom of time, but I didn't know how to do it, and basically wasted my opportunity because I didn't have the clear goal, and I was living in the future, constantly living in the future. So what is funny is I created 17 drafts of this script. 17 drafts. I was writing it 1 month, and then creating this video was another like few weeks of shooting. And then editing on my old computer was a nightmare. This video, which is, I don't know, 30 minutes, it was exporting from Premiere Pro for 48 hours. Can you imagine? 48 hours. I don't know how my old computer survived this shit. But yeah, I had my first video published. And I was thinking, okay, I will publish my first video. And how many views it will get? 100? 1,000? 1 million? 100,000? I don't know. I literally don't know, and I'm really curious. So I just published the video, and I decided that I will not check the views for 1 week. And after 1 week, I checked it, thinking, oh, how many? Million? 100,000? 10,000? 1,000? And I checked the video, and it got 0 views. 0 views and 17 impressions. What the fuck? 17 impressions. So I knew this will be a long journey. But I wasn't discouraged. I was really happy. And at the time, I wrote the letter to myself, because I was constantly writing letters to myself, and I had them here as well, like letters to myself. So basically, I realized that writing letters to myself is more cool than writing a diary, because I can write my thoughts today on a piece of paper, which is kind of artistically pleasing, and I can send this letter for the next week or the next month or the next year, and actually opening this letter feels like a birthday gift, which is kind of cool. Like, yeah, what I wrote to myself 1 month ago, what I was thinking 1 year ago. It's so cool. So I was constantly writing these letters and about YouTube and about everything. So I again changed the sales job because I was so frustrated with this one. I changed it for another one, and it was again so shit, and I hated it. And I was making these videos, and these videos were getting like 10 views, 17 views. And I said, yeah, 17 views, I have to do something right here. So I was doing these videos about myself and the morning check habit, the diary, or the ketogenic diet. So like kind of a self-development videos. And 17th of March, I was in my sales job, and I got a phone call that I had the meeting with the CEO and like the board. And I said, okay. And they said to me that basically they don't see any results and they want to fire me. And I said in my head, thank God that I don't have to take this decision myself. So I was so happy again that I lost this sales job. And I decided back then that I'm not going to the sales job again. I'm not going to the office again. I'm not going to the normal job again. And I'll somehow get the job as a freelance video editor, because I can do it after half a year of editing my videos, even though they got altogether 50 views. But I will do it. And I will take 3 months to learn video editing, and then I will start making money, at least $1,000 per month, which will be enough to live somehow in Poland. And then I'll just develop my YouTube channel and create my course, and finally I will make it. So this was 1 year ago, in 2023, 17th of March. During this time, I was watching heavily Dan Co. So Dan Co says that you should just publish the content about what you are learning right now. and I was actually learning about Danco. So I said, okay, what if I would gather the entirety of Danco's and I would just make the video about him. When researching him, I realized that this guy is so deep and he has so interesting story that maybe I will make a documentary about it. Also, I was thinking long time ago to add my paintings to my videos. So each painting would have this watercolor scrapbook. So I created this. I was researching 1 month of Danco. I made the video about it and I published it. Danco saw it and this was nice, but it got like 100 views and this was it. And I said, well, yeah, let's go to another one. So I made another one and I made another one about Dotfoot. And then suddenly this Danco video got 1000 views and the next day 2000 views, and it was getting 1000 views for 20 days straight, getting me 22,000 views. And this was the best feeling in my life. This was the recognition of my work. This was people commenting and saying so nice things about my art, about my videos, about the depth, the wisdom, about my craft. Finally, first time in my life, people recognized my work on a bigger scale. And 22,000 people, right now it's, I don't know, 35,000 people, saw my work. This is like the entire football stadium. This is amazing. And I was pursuing this feeling ever since. So I moved back to my parents because I didn't want to go to the sales job again. And I was just focusing on working as a video editor. And I got my first dollar online during this time in a small Upwork gig. And I was making another videos. So I was basically looking for my style. So I made this documentary about Danco. Then I made the documentary about Dotfoot, which I thought will get 10 times more views, but it didn't. Then I created this Icelandic vlog, which I thought it will be perfect. Looking at the YouTube teachings, it was perfect video and got 100 views. So compared to my Danco, 35,000 was microscopical. So I realized that maybe I should just focus on these documentaries. So I made the documentary about Alex Hormozy and it got also 200 views. And I was so frustrated that I decided to quit YouTube for some time. And I focused on clients' work, making money, and yeah, basically, after this Alex Hormozy video, I was messaged by some guy on Twitter. This guy told me that he sees the numbers are not showing my real value, that he sees the ambitious guy that is working so hard and have so great stories to tell and so great ideas, and that he would like to work with me. We stayed in contact and we have so much ideas that I'll talk about them in a minute. So long story short, trying to get as much clients work as possible, I moved to Warsaw, but during the end of the year, suddenly all of my clients disappeared, so I got no money and I had to come back to my parents again, which is not so cool, but yeah, I can take my pride and hide it in my pockets and just focus on what's important to me. So during the New Year's, I decided on this project. The project was 60-day challenge. The idea was for the 60 days straight, I would publish a short form content every day on each platform. So I was making these videos, short videos every day for 64 days straight or whatever. And I realized, hey, a lot of people have problems with just starting the journey. I don't have a problem starting, I have a problem with keeping up with regularity, but a lot of people have a problem with starting. So what if I will create a course about starting today? Today, everybody wants to create content, but they are not starting today. So in January, I created this course, Value Creator Today, and it shows you how to start. This is not a sale, and this is not a commercial. I'm just saying, this was the course about you taking the camera and starting creating content today. Maybe I should just publish it for free. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. During the same time, there was this Danco's book, The Art of Focus. So I decided that I will create the new video about Danco, about his entire story, entire system, again, like with better visuals. And also I will create this painted summary of the book. During the same time, I realized that documentaries about other creators could be the key to success on YouTube. So I made the list of people that I'm interested in and I started creating videos about them. I made the video about Hamza and Hamza saw my video and commented and I got a lot of followers from that. I made the video about 1000, about Gox, which was my biggest inspiration on YouTube. I made the video about Hiller Smith, which is my biggest editing-wise inspiration, because during this time I read this book, 12-Week Year, which is the system of 12 super productive weeks and putting these short-term goals, which was really cool. Also, after the Hamza video, one guy reached out to me if I would paint the scrapbook for him for the video about a famous rapper, The Weeknd, and I said, of course I will. So maybe the weekend will see my work, my painting work. We are coming to this very day, and I will tell you what plans for the future I have. Because as you can see, I went through so many experiences. Yeah, so I wanted to say one day I realized that actually the entire journey, the entire self-development, the entire adventures I've done to impress my ex-girlfriend. And this is something interesting because this was my original fuel and my original engine. But actually, after healing my wounds and after accepting what happened and after forgiving her for the situation and like moving forward, which I needed like few years to go through it, this stayed with me. This seeking of adventures, seeking of development, developing myself, this stayed with me. Even with not trying to impress anyone, only myself. So yeah, so if I would meet her on the street, I would thank her for this situation because I needed to go through this heartbreak and hardship to learn the important lessons about myself, that I have the value inside of me and I can express it and I actually can do all of these things. Just wanted to touch upon that. Thank you. So I'm shooting this 11th of May 2024, and even though I have a small video editing job and small gigs here and there, and I'm not having a big success on YouTube and not even big success on Twitter, I have so big goals and I have so huge ideas. So basically, my idea is value creators of the future. This is the theme I would like to focus on, of value creators. So what I mean by this, my life purpose was back then inspiring others by my books, brilliant funny advice. But actually, the book is just a medium. I can do the same thing on YouTube. So my life purpose would be right now to inspire others by myself, by my stories, by my experiences, brilliant, funny advice. So I'm thinking my biggest struggle through all of these years was how in modern society I can be an artist, I can create and make money out of it. For a long time it was blocked for me and it was impossible for me. And it was just like a wishy dream. But right now I can see this is possible, and the only thing I need is a public of true fans, and if I would have true fans, they would buy my products, if I'll bring the value of course, and I can make money. So I think I'm really close to that, and I think people, if you are watching this, you're definitely my true core fan base, and this is amazing. And yeah, I would like to know how many of you get to this point. I don't know if it's like 10 people or 100 people, 1000 people, I really don't know. Or maybe it's 0, like with my first video. Please leave the comment, I would really like to know. And of course it helps with the algorithm, but I would really like to know. But what I mean is value creators of the future. So there are creators like Mr. Beast, just making the entertainment, and there are creators like .co that are providing value, that are trying to teach something. So the future of YouTube and of social media is, I think, value creation and authenticity. Just the future of value creators, of people using the tools of the future like AI and communities, and a lot of stuff is growing right now. But I would like to be the guy who talks about self-development, creativity, and how it will go to the future, and how I can predict some of the future things that will happen, and value creation on YouTube and on social media. So I would like to create a podcast, I would like to create a newsletter, and I would like to talk about my experiences as I'm doing here. And yeah, so we also have this idea for the community platform, like school. Yeah, I'm too tired to talk about this. You know what? I will create another video about my plans for myself and my plan and how I'll achieve $10 million level. Guys, if you really came to this point, I am speechless because it's, I don't know, I'm recording 5 hours, I guess. And this video, I don't know how, maybe it's 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't know. So thank you so much. And I think if you watched this video, we are closer to each other. You now understand what I went through and what is my mindset and how many failures I went through and how this puts my mindset into the work and how I will see the future of myself, because I'm not quitting and I'm not going anywhere. And I know that either I die or I succeed. So thank you so much, guys, and I truly appreciate. Check the links in the description. I don't know what, but I will definitely have something to share. Maybe there's a lead magnet or something in exchange. Thank you so much. I was honored to share my story. I really wanted to do it. And yeah, thanks. Bye. Nice.